If you have received or applied for the employee retention tax credit, it is good for you to be aware that there are many audits that have been started. And what this creates is a situation that if you're audited and you claimed the ERC refund and you did not qualify for that, and under audit, the IRS says, no, you don't qualify, you have to pay it back. There is another situation that you may not be able to collect your refund on the taxes that you paid on the employee retention tax credit. So let me explain that. So let's say you applied for the employee retention tax credit, you got your refund, and that is for the year 2020 or 2021. And you went back and you did as was the instruction, was you claimed the ERC in the years 2020 and 2021. As you know, that refund is claimed against wages. So if in 2020 you had originally $100,000 worth of wages and you had $50,000 of employee retention tax credit, you go back and amend that tax return, reducing the expense of wages by $50,000 by the amount of the refund. So now your deductible wages is $50,000. That in effect increases your net income by $50,000, and that is taxable on the federal level. Not all states tax it. California doesn't tax it, and I think 9 other states, but it is taxable on the federal level, and so you must amend 2020 or 2021 if you got ERC for those years and claim that. So let's say you did that as you were supposed to do, and now 5 years from now, the IRS audits you, and they disallow that refund. What's happened is when you amended your return, you paid the additional taxes. So let's say you had an S corporation and you amended the S corporation tax return, and now in this scenario, you have $50,000 more of net income that's flowing through on your K-1 into your personal tax return. So now you owe taxes on $50,000 more. So you paid those taxes. 5 years go by, and the IRS says, no, you got to pay back the ERC. You didn't qualify under audit. You don't sustain the audit. What happens is you lose your right to go back and amend and get back that additional tax that you paid on the employee retention tax credit. So this is an issue that's coming around and people are starting to talk about it. So I want you to be aware of it. So the general limitation is that if you file a tax return, if you are due a refund, you have 3 years from the time you filed that tax return or 2 years from the time you paid the tax, whichever is later, in order to amend and get back a refund. So 5 years go by and you paid that tax 5 years ago, you can't go back and amend. So people are starting to talk about, well, what can be done? Well, there is something that can be done. And I would suggest that we all consider this. So what this is to do a protective refund claim. And this preserves the taxpayer's right to claim a tax refund when the taxpayer's right to the refund is contingent on future events that may occur until that may be after the statute of limitations expires. So the protective claim concept is not contained in the Code of the Treasury regulations, but instead it is established by case law. So I want to just show you just quickly, just here is an article, just you can Google this about a protective claim. What is a protective refund claim? And then there are more articles on this. The tax advisor talking about protective contingent refund claims. This is particularly relevant in this playing field of the ERC. If the IRS really is going to hardball it and deny a lot of the ERC audits, or you were one of those people who just thought you didn't have to qualify and you're not going to do anything to retract or withdraw your claim, this could be you down the line. Okay, so what do we do about it? So how do we file a protective claim? So how we file a protective claim is basically we're going to send a letter to the IRS. And here's just an example letter for you to look at, protective claim for a refund. So you put all the pertinent information, the tax form, the section code, your name, your social security number, and you just explain this is a protective claim. If for some reason this is not held up under law, that you are reserving basically your right to get a refund down the line if somehow this ERC is audited. Now, of course, it's a little challenging. It's like, I don't really want to bring this to the attention of the IRS that I'm considering this. However, it is a proactive thing that you can do to ensure that if you get audited and that ERC is denied, here's another option for you. So we've had a number of different options. If you did not really qualify for the ERC, you can withdraw your claim. If you didn't get the money, you can withdraw it. There are instructions on the IRS website. There's the voluntary disclosure program that is now expired, but people have talked about that maybe being opened back up. In the case of the voluntary disclosure program, there's a special form that you fill out and you get to keep 20% of the ERC, but you have to agree to pay back the rest of it. And it becomes non-taxable in that situation. That expired March 22nd, 2024, but who knows, it could open back up. So if you're in that where you're not sure you qualified and you haven't really checked with a professional, maybe the mills got to you and somebody did your ERC claim, you didn't really know, and you're on the edge, here's one other thing that you can do is file a protective claim for a refund with the IRS. So this is Michelle Smart. I'm an enrolled agent. Please follow me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Thanks for watching.